Canada looks calm, polite, safe, almost boring. But that image hides a country built on tension, extremes, and quiet power. A place where people survive brutal winters, live thousands of kilometers apart, and still believe in something called together. So how did a country this cold, this vast, and this young become one of the most respected nations on Earth? And what does life here really feel like? To understand Canada, you don't start with cities. You start with distance. From the air, Canada feels endless. Forests that stretch beyond the horizon. Frozen lakes that look like cracked glass. Mountains that rise without warning. This land doesn't welcome you gently. Tests you first. And it always has. Long before Canada existed as a country, this land belonged to indigenous nations. Hundreds of them, with their own languages, laws, trade routes, and deep spiritual connections to the land. They survived here for thousands of years, adapting to ice, forests, and seasons that could kill the unprepared. This wasn't empty land. It was organized, alive, and defended. Then came the Europeans. First the French, chasing fur and trade routes. Then the British chasing power. Two empires fighting over a land neither truly understood. Their rivalry shaped Canada's DNA. Bilingual, divided, and constantly negotiating identity. Canada didn't explode into existence through revolution. It was stitched together slowly, carefully, almost reluctantly. Confederation in 1867 wasn't about glory. It was about survival, about not becoming American, about compromise instead of chaos. That choice still defines Canada today. Travel through the country and you feel it. In Quebec, French signs, Catholic churches, and a culture that refuses to disappear. In the prairies, wide skies and small towns built on agriculture and grit. On the west coast, rain-soaked cities facing the Pacific, thinking more about Asia than Europe. In the north, communities where winter dominates life and isolation is normal. Canada isn't one culture. It's many, layered on top of each other, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not. And yet, people here share something subtle. A quiet agreement. Canadians don't shout their identity. They don't wave it aggressively, but they defend certain values fiercely. Fairness, stability, and the idea that society should work for everyone, not just the loudest. That belief shapes daily life. Walk through a Canadian city and you notice small things first. People line up. Cars stop for pedestrians. Strangers apologize even when it's not their fault. It looks soft, but it's actually discipline, social trust, the kind that only forms when people believe rules apply equally. But here's the reality most videos don't show. Living in Canada is expensive, very expensive. Rent in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver can shock newcomers. A modest apartment can cost more than an entire house in many countries. Groceries, phone plans, transportation, everything adds up quickly. The dream of Canada comes with a price tag, and not everyone can afford it easily. So why do millions still want to come? Because Canada offers something rare in today's world: predictability. Healthcare won't bankrupt you. Education opens doors. The passport opens borders. Canada's passport is among the strongest globally, allowing visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to most countries. That mobility matters in a world full of closed doors. It's one reason Canada is respected internationally. Not feared, not flashy, but trusted. Trust is Canada's real currency. That trust shows up in institutions, in universities known worldwide, in companies that quietly influence global markets, in inventions that changed daily life without ever shouting their origin. Insulin was co-discovered by a Canadian. The snowmobile, IMAX technology, the Canadarm used in space missions. Canada doesn't always claim credit loudly, but its fingerprints are everywhere. Education plays a huge role here. Canadian universities attract students from every continent, not just because of rankings, but because of pathways. Study here, work here, settle here. It's one of the few countries where immigration is built into the national strategy, not treated as an emergency. That creates a unique society. In Toronto, over half the population was born outside the country. Walk down one street and you hear Urdu, Mandarin, Arabic, French, Spanish, Punjabi, all within minutes. Food from every culture sits side by side. Halal restaurants next to vegan cafes. Old traditions adapting to new climates. Multiculturalism here isn't perfect. Tensions exist. Inequality exists. Indigenous communities still face deep injustice. Racism hasn't vanished. Canada isn't a utopia. But the difference is this: problems are acknowledged publicly, debated, apologized for, sometimes slowly fixed. That honesty keeps people invested. Nature, though, is what truly humbles you. Canada's geography doesn't care about politics or borders. Winters can last half the year. Temperatures drop to levels that shut down exposed skin in minutes. Snow isn't a backdrop, it's a force. Yet Canadians don't fight it. They adapt. Cities are built inward with underground paths. Homes are insulated like bunkers. Life slows down in winter, then explodes in summer. Festivals, lakes, late sunsets that stretch past 10 p.m. The seasons control emotion here. Winter teaches patience. Spring brings relief. Summer feels earned. Autumn feels like warning. That cycle shapes the national mindset. Canadians plan, prepare, save, think long-term. You can't survive here by improvisation alone. Major cities reflect different personalities. Toronto is ambition. Finance, media, skyscrapers, constant motion. Vancouver is beauty and tension. Mountains meeting ocean, wealth meeting scarcity. Montreal is soul, art, music, rebellion, history layered with nightlife. Calgary is oil, open land, and quiet confidence. Ottawa is calm power, decisions made quietly behind stone buildings. Each city feels like a different country, yet connected by shared systems and values. Daily life is structured. Work-life balance matters. Overtime isn't glorified the same way it is elsewhere. People leave work to pick up kids. Weekends are protected. Burnout exists, but it isn't celebrated. Sports play a role too. Hockey isn't just a game, it's identity. Frozen ponds, early mornings, community rinks. Even people who don't watch hockey understand its cultural weight. It represents endurance, teamwork, and resilience. Food tells another story. Traditional Canadian food reflects survival. Meat, potatoes, preserved ingredients. But modern Canada eats globally. Sushi is normal. Shawarma is everywhere. Poutine, fries, cheese curds, gravy. Somehow became a national symbol, messy and unapologetic. Tourism sells the beauty. Banff, Niagara Falls, Northern Lights, coastal drives, wildlife. But the deeper appeal is how accessible nature feels. You don't need to be rich to experience it. Parks are public. Trails are open. The land belongs to everyone. That idea, shared ownership, runs through everything. Canada isn't loud about power. It doesn't dominate headlines. It doesn't chase dominance. But it influences through stability, diplomacy, and consistency. And that's why people trust it. But trust doesn't mean perfection. Housing affordability is a crisis. Climate change threatens northern communities. Young people worry about the future. Indigenous reconciliation is unfinished. Canada knows this, and maybe that awareness is its strength. Because Canada isn't trying to be the best country in the world. It's trying to be a fair one, and that might be harder. As we continue this journey into daily life, global influence, travel dreams, and what truly makes Canada different from every other nation, you'll see why this quiet country leaves such a strong impression on those who experience it. Not because it demands attention, but because it earns respect. Canada reveals itself slowly, not in dramatic moments, but in patterns. In how people behave when no one is watching. In how systems keep working even when life gets hard. In how the country treats those who arrive with nothing but hope. Morning in Canada begins quietly. Suburban streets wake under frost. Downtowns fill with people carrying coffee cups, moving with purpose but rarely urgency. Commuter trains glide in on time. Schools open no matter the weather. Life doesn't pause easily here, because winter never waits for comfort. This reliability shapes the lifestyle. Canadians plan their lives around stability. Careers are built slowly. Savings matter. Risk is calculated. That's why entrepreneurship exists here, but it's cautious, measured. Startups grow quietly. Companies expand responsibly. The economy isn't explosive, but it's resilient. Canada's economy rests on balance. Natural resources, oil, gas, minerals, timber, still play a major role. But alongside them stand technology, finance, clean energy, film, and artificial intelligence. Some of the world's leading AI research happens here. Hollywood shoots entire films in Canadian cities that double as New York, Chicago, or futuristic worlds. Canada doesn't shout innovation. It integrates it. Daily life reflects that balance. Healthcare is public. You don't fear illness bankrupting your family, but you may wait. That trade-off is accepted. Education follows a similar pattern, high quality, publicly supported, but competitive at the top. Students learn early that effort matters more than privilege. Language tells its own story. English and French are official, but reality is broader. Immigrants keep their mother tongues alive at home. Children grow up switching languages naturally. Identity becomes layered, not replaced. You don't stop being where you came from, you add Canada on top of it. This layered identity is why Canada feels different from other Western nations. Patriotism here is subtle. You won't see constant flags. Pride shows up differently, in voting, in volunteering, in protecting public spaces, in apologizing when systems fail. But here's the truth that surprises many visitors. Canada can feel lonely. The same politeness that keeps society smooth can create distance. People respect privacy deeply. Friendships take time. Winters isolate. Long distances separate families. Mental health challenges exist, especially in colder months. Community must be built intentionally. Yet when crisis hits, that distance disappears. Floods, fires, ice storms. The response is always the same. Neighbors help. Governments act. Society pulls inward and holds. Canada is strongest under pressure. Travel deeper into the country and the scale becomes overwhelming. Northern territories where roads vanish and plains replace highways. Towns where darkness lasts months. Indigenous cultures that survived despite systemic attempts to erase them. Canada's relationship with its Indigenous peoples is one of its deepest contradictions. A nation that values fairness was built on displacement. That truth is now openly acknowledged. Land acknowledgements, truth and reconciliation efforts, policy changes. Progress is slow, imperfect, but denial is no longer acceptable. That honesty matters. It's part of why Canada holds global respect. Not because it claims moral superiority, but because it admits mistakes publicly and tries to correct them. Internationally, Canada plays the role of mediator, peacekeeper, diplomatic bridge. It's not the strongest military, not the largest economy, but when Canada speaks, it's often trusted. That soft power opens doors. Tourists feel it immediately, from coastal highways in Nova Scotia to the cliffs of Newfoundland, from prairie sunsets to Rocky Mountain mornings, from canoeing silent lakes to standing beneath dancing northern lights. Canada doesn't overwhelm you, it grounds you. You don't rush here. You breathe. Food becomes memory. Maple syrup tapped in spring. Salmon smoked on the west coast. Butter tarts. Tourtière. Fresh berries in summer markets. Meals feel seasonal, tied to land and weather. Sports bring people together. Hockey nights unite strangers. Basketball grows fast. Soccer fields fill with new Canadians bringing global passion. The Olympics still matter here, not just for medals but for collective pride. And then there's the passport, a small booklet that carries enormous freedom. Visa-free access to most of the world. Global trust. For immigrants, it represents arrival. For citizens, it represents security. In an unstable world, that matters deeply. So why is Canada so popular? Because it offers something rare, a future that feels possible. Not perfect, not easy, but possible. You can study here and build a life. Raise children without constant fear. Disagree without violence. Fail without being erased. That's the promise. But Canada doesn't hand it to you. You earn it. Through patience. Through adaptation. Through understanding that comfort comes from cooperation, not competition alone. What makes Canada truly unique isn't its landscape or its wealth. Many countries have those. It's the social contract. An unspoken agreement that everyone deserves dignity. That systems should protect the vulnerable. That success shouldn't destroy community. That progress should be steady, not reckless. Canada doesn't chase perfection. It chases balance. And that balance is fragile. It requires constant effort, constant debate, constant compromise. But for now, it holds. If you ever visit Canada, don't just chase the postcard views. Sit in a neighborhood cafe during a snowstorm. Ride a bus at rush hour. Talk to people whose accents tell long journeys. Walk a quiet trail where no one else is around. That's where Canada lives. In the spaces between noise, in restraint, in quiet confidence. And when you leave, you may realize something unexpected. Canada doesn't try to impress you. It lets you decide. And somehow, that's what stays with you the longest. If you ever get the chance to experience Canada, not just as a tourist, but as a participant, take it. Walk its streets. Feel its seasons. Learn its patience. Because some countries dazzle you, but a few change how you see the world. If you want more immersive country documentaries like this, like the video and subscribe to the channel.